I may refer the House to official reports dated Friday, 24 July 2015, in particular column 3798, on a similar matter of contempt, where Mr. Jogati of Isikado said, and I quote, "Mr. Speaker, the view should not be held that because we are going along a path that is not usually charted, we are not guided by rules." Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chairman, these proceedings in a matter of Black Rasta and Professor Dodo was a matter that the House floor as well as the committee were guided by strict rules of procedure. And I'm of the view that no matter what, if a man's hand is found in a till, his guilt must be proven by following due process. We are therefore saying, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chairman, that the motion which has been filed, of which out of respect a notice was so made, was to the effect that the respondent is raising issue of jurisdiction. On the last occasion when we raised this objection, Mr. Chairman's view was that there was no such motion before the committee. The committee has no power to determine issue of regularity. That is why, guided by the superior knowledge of Mr. Chairman, the proper thing was done by the respondent himself by filing a motion of rescission. And Mr. Chairman, our rule under Order 98 provides, Mr. Speaker shall be responsible for the observance of order in the House and of the rules of debate, and his decision upon any point of order shall not be open to appeal and shall not be reviewed by the House, except upon a substantive motion made after notice. Mr. Chairman, when a respondent is aggrieved by a decision of the Speaker, which decision was your directive of 6th of June, the proper thing for him to do is to bring to the attention the irregularity embedded in that decision. It is for the House floor to determine whether or not he has a case. I believe, since our rules do not expressly provide for injunction and all that, the fact that a member who is part of us, has been brought before us, and he says that, look, even the rule, the Order 78 that the Honorable Muntaka was invoking, that a contempt matter has suddenly arisen, he was even out of the jurisdiction at the time. So there are substantive issues he has to raise. If he was coming doing a complaint, the rule provides under Order 53. These are issues that he has to raise, and I think, in all fairness to him, that we should not rush proceedings. We should allow him, if the House floor rejects that there is no merit, the directive given by Mr. Chairman or Mr. Speaker is right per our proceedings, per our law, so be it. We'll come and submit ourselves to justice. But for now, it is like an accused person, the charge sheet is not proper, there shouldn't be charge sheet because he's an accused person, the judge should go ahead and hear. And we may be setting a precedence, the nature of which may create confusion in future. Mr. Chair, I would end by referring you to Right Honorable Speaker Do Ajaho's determination in 2015 on a matter like this, where contempt proceedings came before Honorable Do Ajaho. If you go to 18 June 2015, Honorable Hendrick, Mr. Chair, I just want to quote verbatim. Just allow me. Very well. Okay. Mr. Speaker, that is column 1374. Mr. Speaker, I believe the complaint has been lodged. It's a complaint that we should take seriously. It is important that we follow the rules. It is important that the person the honorable member referred to, together with the newspaper that published it, came before the House to say whatever was published and that was heard is truly what he said, and if so, for him to produce evidence. Mr. Chairman, this was Honorable Bagbin, your respected colleague and second deputy speaker. This was the point he made on the House floor. The rules must be followed. The rules must be followed. And, Mr. Chair, if I refer to their report, the report that was also laid, that is the 2015, July 24th.
Honourable Member, what is your point?
Okay.
Are you appealing against the ruling that was made the last time?
No, Mr. Chair.
Otherwise, I think you're holding back the committee at this work. We have ruled on this matter. If I recall correctly, you have actually raised this matter on the floor of the House, and the record reflects that you raised this matter on the floor of the House. Your attention was drawn that if you indeed have an issue, you should come formally. That's been over 6 weeks. So I have ruled that we will proceed. There's nothing stopping you from pursuing your rights at the floor. If Mr. Speaker directs that proceedings be held, why? Mr. Speaker will refer the matter to the committee. When members withdrew, we sent him a memo immediately. He directed that they be replaced. They have been replaced. And after that, we gave notice over 4 weeks. So to come the wee hour to come and submit a paper informing us of another paper filed the same day, it's for me an attempt to subvert the proceedings. And I will not encourage that. Please, we'll proceed. That's my ruling. Let's proceed.
Mr. Chair, on that note, we would advise ourselves on your position and proceed with the last two issues that we have, so that if you determine that one too, Mr. Chair, the precedent is being set.
Which last two issues?
Mr. Chair, we have two more issues. One has to do with the evidence. Mr. Chair, you overruled us, but in a letter dated, in a letter from your clerk to us, they attached a CD to us, that to enable us prepare for our defense. Mr. Chair, what we are saying is that evidence that you furnished us coming from the complainant is inadmissible, and would give reasons why that evidence is inadmissible. Mr. Chair, if you come to Evidence Act 323, Section 52, which provides for discretion to exclude relevant evidence. And for this purpose, we rely on 52(1)(b), which provides the risk that admission of the evidence will create substantial danger of unfair prejudice or substantial danger of confusing the issues. Mr. Chair, when the CD was given us to view, it has two radio stations, Adum FM and Oman FM, and editing done by the complainant. On the motion that was moved by the complainant himself, he did not claim ownership. Neither did he say he was in custody or the thing was said in his presence. He said he was relying on the media. Mr. Chair, fairness demands that the complainant should proceed and procure the said evidence upon which he mounts his complaint from proper custody. And the evidence of this is a precedence in this very House. In the July 2015 matter, where in that contempt matter, this House wrote to multimedia when an allegation was made for proper audio recordings to be brought officially. And the officer from multimedia testified. Mr. Chair, it cannot be that because a colleague is merely making an allegation. He goes to get a CD, 3 radio stations, he has done his editing, and as colleagues, we want to say that it is proper evidence admissible. It may be him today, it may be somebody tomorrow. We hold a view that it is fair by the very precedents of this House that we follow our own rules and our precedents. The appropriate station, media house, that the complainant claims the respondent made those disparaging remarks should be the proper authority to tender, not where he himself has put some evidence together, edited it, 3 radio stations, and has given it, and we want to view it. It would amount to unfair prejudice. And that is where Mr. Chairman must not allow this to be showed to the public, because the evidence that you have is not coming from proper custody. If shown the way it is, which you viewed it in camera, it would amount to undue prejudice. And Mr. Chairman would know that the rule does not allow such a thing to happen to an individual. Under no circumstance should such a thing be countenanced. The last point, Mr. Chair, there is some coincidence of purpose. We acknowledge that per our rules, you are the chairman of the Privileges Committee. By coincidence, at the time that the honorable colleague who is a complainant raised the matter, by coincidence, Mr. Chair, you were in the chair and made a referral to the committee. Coincidentally, you are the very chairman of this committee who is receiving this referral. When we raised the earlier objection and the matter was referred to the majority leader and the 3 new nominees were brought, coincidentally you were in the chair. Then finally, we never know whether or not by another coincidence, at the time the report will be ready, Mr. Chair will be in the seat as the first deputy speaker. So we think that this is also one important matter, whether or not Mr. Chair is a judge in his own court and all that. The prejudice, the likely prejudice, a reasonable man is likely to infer some prejudice. And we think that, well, a judgment will be entered at the end of the day. Proceedings in such a matter must be consistent with known rules and the law, and we should not be in a rush in departing from what we already know. And we have fortified ourselves with Professor Dodu and Black Rasta case, which this House dealt with on the Friday, 24th of July, 2015. We so submit.
Very well. I don't think any of these matters are new. You raised them, we have dealt with them. First, when it comes to admissibility or otherwise, this committee's duty, charged under the rules, is to inquire. It is not what somebody says. Our job is to inquire. If we are not satisfied with any evidence, we will go anywhere else to satisfy ourselves that the allegation is true or not. So it does not exclude us from calling the Oman FM, where the allegations, the statement were alleged to have been made. So that is not a reason for which proceedings cannot proceed. And I think you know very well that when a statute confers a duty on a person, it is not open to anybody else to exercise it apart from. And when I am presiding, I am Mr. Speaker. When I come here, I am chairman of a committee. I preside over a committee of over 30-something members. And I don't hold sway. It's a decision of the committee that I only report on. So please, we shall proceed. Clerk, are we ready? Let's watch the video. No. I would my station. I can get you on.
here. But the evidence about chairman and the grass. We need 1.5. We need 1.5. In the chairman of pastors or church here, are you out of your mind? Parliament is not full. I'm really a small boy now. About the chairman of the movie, I was just maybe, but no more branches. I only respect him. I would dear group. Many of the people, we saw you. The Parliament has made the enemy. 11,000 cities. Let me talk when you come in my head. Can I call Hafiz Assem? So, you went to a majority, said, I wish I say, oh, cannot, why you want to say, I'm going to say, your lap. Hafiz, the old Parliament have been dead. Parliament investigation, not the whole family. Parliament, the investigation. Then, of course, obey. All of your investigation. I didn't know is Parliament more than judiciary? I didn't know judiciary, I will show Parliament. And I'm of government. Sure. I don't know where you matter. A Okoto, Nibuke, I will fight for justice for every person in this country. And what all I'm doing is that justice for all. Not justice in the interest of the strongest. And I'm not in a Plato's ideal world. I justice. No, I meant to have his assembly. I say, may I know questions with me? Raise your voice now, me tea. On Facebook, I want to answer Hafiz, and now for the year, you should move my tea and jelly. No, tell them Hafiz is over. Yeah, okay. And you have Dr. Edem B. The whole thing is said. I Hafiz, Mubarak, Babatuli, Omukobu, Dubai Food, okay. Company Omega Strategic Service. Sir, Omega gold business. Omega 1,000 tons of gold for $5.7 million. And Omega fair transfer of $1.9 million. And that to Hafiz account. Omega 4190 and we will distribute it. And the company know I want to buy who send conforno and yet legitimate business no we don't pursue boom. When you could be our friend Dr. Adam and are contacting Anas to investigate and get these guys arrested, which he did. And the double agent. What years he come out across one year, no attack for Jessica. Because we are not because I know how to you. And I'm not free. You have a full video about that. I'm not the castle. Only were dead and gone. We are the anyway, say no more castle. No. Hafiz, and the honor of the or castle. Now, Bama, the castle, and I'm not look on New Town. And for sure, 2 other people now can't Hafiz, no, we are that deal. And the 2 people now conversation. I want video a show at the book at Kakran Hotel. And the Anas choir of Aruaka or record in India way. Yes, I didn't think a case against Hafiz, one tender in as evidence. Why? Because they paid him $100,000. Aruaka, the video will come on and they buy me $100,000. So the state attorney or your bar until to come back here. No one say, Mammy said, ask for money. We all want money. But what am I going to do? How am I going to do it? Do you have evidence? I say, yes. I say, oh, yeah. He says, now you understand. So I'll bring the evidence. Then the woman also said, if you bring the evidence, then I'll do it in such a way to correspond with so that the case was spoiled. That is why the case got spoiled. It was not Charles Quick, the judge. Oh, video. Monday, also Wednesday, Friday, I am two. You will show that video. Oh, voice no time. Mubarak to me, Baba today. Here we are, Monday. You will show video. May not a person a follow a map for TSC. Now, baby, Mubarak, and you have fees, you have said, you agree. I will say case you will hear or you will see. So a new woman and negotiate. Then you know who announces. And in a case, $1.9 million. And you have fees in about this also go jail. I don't know, you have arrested the first take what about that case, News far, or Kansas case, and a Charles Chris and a bazaar. And a judge to me at the bazaar. It is because enough and you'll go who's get a 20 or battle, and will be a case in a bazaar. Now you sit there, now will be Charles Chris McFly. I'm sure you're relapse, grab you. When you're stroke, you're so catch water. What do you say? Now, what do you? $50,000. No, we are 500 Ghana cedis. But we are 500 Ghana cedis is also a corrupt to a losing a human for life. They are getting a license. So what should be done to us? What should be done to us? How many judges? Maybe it's a question. How many judges and we're investigating? How many of them and we're doing in court? How many custom officers and we're investigating? How many of them and we're doing court? We have a video to that effect. Custom for now, we're investigating your moody uncle. Now, saying I went to the Facebook, we said, part 2. 9 years ago, investigation, I felt like part 2 because Pakachi said, we're selective justice. And people don't get it. And your mommy, and I wouldn't be, and our papa be, and I'm not your good anymore, sister. Now, only Pana will be any matter. Or your police can see a chair, I got for Momoya, dear money, at Momoya Mania. So there's a young Kunti, a young Kunti, or the young farmer, yet the Bayo. Say, I'll stop one nothing, Bonina Woody. We are not genuine investigators for the country. Then I'm sorry. A chairman, sir, he shouldn't make himself as a thing go.
Honourable members, this is the evidence submitted to us. Honourable respondent, before we proceed, we have to swear you. I'm sorry. So the clerk will administer the oath to you first.
I, Agyepong,
swear by Almighty God
that
the evidence I shall give before this committee touching the matter in issue shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Yes, Honorable. I was asking whether you were the person in the video.
Yes.
Is there any of the things attributed to you in the video that you challenge or you disagree with?
Yeah, I disagree with it. The committee has not been fair to me because I want your laptop to be here and just watch what you gave to me. Why is it that you're doing a presentation to me and it's only Oman FM, and you give evidence to me it's Adum FM and Oman FM? And everybody don't seem to agree. Play it yourself. This is the evidence submitted to me. I just want to know that. With all respect to members, I want your laptop to be here and play it.
Don't worry, we'll play
Good.
it. What, clerk, you submitted, can you play what you submitted to them if there are any discrepancies? Let him play what you gave to him, but confirm that that's what you sent to him. And if there's any discrepancy,